Long ago, in the city of Uyo, a city full of life and promise, a jewel nestled in the heart of Akwa Ibom State, Uyo was unlike many other cities in Nigeria. Its roads were clean and wide, bordered by trees that swung like dancers in the evening breeze. Its people were known for their warmth, their smile as bright as the sun, and their voices that often carry in songs of joy at death. It was no wonder that many Nigerians, from near and far, loved Uyo deeply. Because in Uyo, peace was not just a word, it was a way of life. It was into this heaven of beauty that Uduak's family came, relocating from the bustling, restless streets of Lagos to seek a quiet life. Uduak lived with her parents in one of the peaceful neighborhoods on the outskirts of the city, where the air was fresher and the nights were filled with the distant sound of drums and laughter from village gatherings. From the first day they arrived, people noticed her, not because she sought attention, no. Uduak was the kind of girl who never had to announce herself. Her presence alone was enough to turn heads. She was beautiful in a way that words often fail to describe. Her skin was polished bronze, glowing whenever the sun kissed her neck, smooth and flawless as though sculpted by the gods. Her eyes were deep pools of calmness, the kind that made people pause and listen when she speaks. Her smile, her smile was like the first light after Harmattan, warm enough to melt away the coldest morning. But what made Uduak most extraordinary was not her beauty. It was her spirit. She carried herself with the quiet dignity of a queen. She never rushed, never shouted, never dismissed herself or others. She walked as though the earth beneath her feet was blessed by her steps. Her simple dresses carried an elegance that money could not buy. Days. Uduak went to the great university in the city, UNIU. She was young, full of hope, dreaming of a bright tomorrow. It was there she met Obinna. Obinna was tall, broad-shouldered, and had the smooth tongue of a market trader. He had a way of speaking that made the heart dance, a way of laughing that drew people to him. He was not the richest of the students, but he carried himself like a man who knew the road to wealth. When Obinna saw Uduak for the first time, he said to himself, "This flower must be mine. I will not rest until I pluck it." And so he began his chase. He followed her from lecture halls to the library. He waited outside her hostels with gifts, sometimes oranges, sometimes notebook, sometimes they shared a plate of rice together. He wrote letters, poems, and promises. At first, Uduak resisted. She thought he was too eager, too restless, but Obinna was persistent. He would kneel before her in front of his friends, begging. He would say, "If you refuse me, Uduak, I will lose my mind. You are my breath, you are my heartbeat." And one day, her gentle heart softened. She accepted him. Their love blossomed like hibiscus in rainy season. They walked hand in hand across the campus. They ate together, studied together, dreamed together. Obinna promised her the world. "When you graduate," he said, "I will work hard. I will build us a home. You will never lack, my queen." And Uduak believed him. For what else could she do? A woman's heart once open trusts easily. The elders say when the snake dances on the path, it is the drum of its own body that it follows. So Uduak followed Obinna, believing his drum beat was steady and true. After school, Obinna found work in the city. His family came to Uduak's home with wine, yam and kola. The marriage was blessed by elders and witnesses by the gods. The drum beat, the women dance, the air smell of palm wine and goat stew. Uduak's father prayed for her. May your husband cherish you. May your home be full of laughter. May your womb bear children and your heart know peace. And Uduak, with a heart full of hope, entered Obinna's house as his wife. At first, the marriage seemed good. Obinna had a decent job, earning enough to keep food on the table. Uduak bore him 3 children, bright-eyed, playful, full of promise. Neighbors admired them. "Ha! Obinna is lucky," they would say. "See how beautiful his wife is. See how peaceful his home is." Uduak gave her all. She cooked, she cleaned, she cared for the children. She encouraged her husband, stood by him, and waited for the promises he made to come alive. But little did she know that the storm was gathering. As time passed, Obinna began to change. At first, it was small things. He came home late. He grew impatient. His laughter faded. His words became sharp, like a knife that cuts without warning. Then, the small things became big things. He raised his voice at Uduak in front of the children. He struck her when anger boiled over. He looked at her as though she was less than a wife or a woman. Uduak endured. She thought, perhaps it's stress, perhaps tomorrow will be better. But tomorrow never brought change. Instead, the distance grew. Where there should have been affection, there was coldness. Where there should have been love, there was contempt. The elders say, when the sky grows dark at noon, prepare your yam barns, for the storm is near. So it was with Uduak. Her heart began to sense that Obinna was hiding something. She noticed money was missing, though his salary was steady. She noticed the smell of strange perfume on his shirt. She noticed his eyes were wandering, his heart elsewhere. She prayed. She pleaded. She wept. But Obinna did not listen. And so, while the world thought Uduak's home was perfect, inside her was war. The city never slept. From the balcony of their 2-bedroom flat in Uyo, Uduak could hear the ceaseless hum of traffic, the impatient horns, and the faint tones of music from a nearby bar. Yet inside her home, silence resigned, heavy, suffocating silence. It had been weeks since Obinna had spoken to her with tenderness. Weeks since he had looked at her the way he used to when they were in the university, when his eyes carried the promise of forever. Now his gaze was distant, distracted, filled with irritation whenever she opened her mouth. That night, Uduak sat on the edge of the bed, clutching a pillow against her chest. Her face glistened with silent tears. She listened to the sound of Obinna's key turning the lock. It was past 1 a.m. He stumbled in, smelling of expensive collagen and something else she couldn't name, something that did not belong to her. "You're back," she said softly, her voice breaking the silence like a fragile wig. Obinna didn't answer. He dropped his briefcase on the couch, loosened his tie, and reached for a bottle of water. Uduak tried again, summoning courage. Obinna, can we talk? He exhaled, long and irritated. Uduak, not tonight. I'm tired. Her gaze tightened. It's always not tonight. I am your wife. We need to talk. The children need. He stomped around, his eyes flashing. Must you knock me every time I walk in? Can't a man have peace in his own house? Her words died in her throat. She wanted to remind him that she wasn't knocking, that she was only asking for the bare minimum, for attention, for affection, for partnership, but the look in his eyes warned her that nothing she said would matter. Obinna turned away and disappeared into the bathroom, slamming the door. Moments later, the sound of running water filled the apartment. Uduak buried her face in the pillow and sobbed quietly. The following morning, she woke up early as she always did. The children needed breakfast, school uniforms ironed, lunch box packed. She moved like a ghost through the kitchen, slicing bread, boiling water, preparing pap. Good morning, mommy, her eldest daughter greeted, rubbing sleep from her eyes. Uduak forced a smile. Good morning, my dear. Wake your brother, Scone won't wait. The children's laughter soon filled the kitchen, a sharp contrast to the emptiness in her heart. They were the reason she endured, the reason she pushed through each day, despite the ache in her soul. But she couldn't hide the truth forever. Her daughter, watching her closely, her young eyes already noticed what Uduak tried to conceal. Later that afternoon, Uduak sat at her stall in Akpanande market, surrounded by bags of rice, beans and garri. Customers came and went, bargaining, Helen buying in haste. She attended to them with a tired smile, her mind elsewhere. Her small business had been her salvation. It was her father's gift to her, their way of ensuring she could feed her children, since Obinna had long abandoned that responsibility. Madam, how much for the 5 liters of palm oil? A customer asked. 5,800, Uduak replied automatically. As the woman hung up, Uduak's thoughts drifted. She remembered the night she had begged Obinna money to stock that very store, only for him to brush her off, saying times were hard. But then she discovered through whispers and rumor that he was spending lavishly on another woman. The pain of that knowledge sat heavily in her chest, heavier than the sack of rice stacked behind her. That evening, when she returned home, she found Obinna lodging on the couch, scrolling through his phone, his face lit by the glow of the screen, and a smile played on his lips, one she had not seen in years. Welcome, she greeted, her arms full of groceries. He barely looked up. Obinna, she tried placing the bag on the table. The children's school fees are due. We need 60,000 naira. Please, can you? He cut her off with a sharp laugh. And where do you expect me to get that kind of money? Do you think money grow on trees? Her hand trembled. But you earn 800K every month. Can't we? He slumped his phone on the table. Uduak, don't provoke me. I work hard for this money. You think it's easy? If you want money, go and make it yourself. Stop depending on me for everything. She stood frozen, her heart pounding. His words sliced through her like a blade. She wanted to scream. She reminded him that she was the mother of his children, that she cooked, cleaned, held the family together while he wandered everywhere, but her voice failed her. Instead, she lowered her gaze, fighting back tears. I'm not asking for myself. It's for the children. They deserve an education. Obinna scoffed, picked up his phone again, and muttered, you'll never understand. That night, Ura couldn't sleep. She lay behind him in bed, staring at the ceiling while he snored softly. Obviously, she thought of the years gone by the university days when he had pursued her relentlessly, promised her the world. She remembered how she had believed him, how she had given up other suitors for him. Now she wondered if she had been a fool. Tears slipped down her cheek, soaking her pillow. Quietly, she whispered a prayer. God, please, give me strength for my children, for myself. But even as she prayed, she felt a glowing emptiness inside her, a loneliness deeper than words could express. She was married, yet she had never felt more alone. Weeks turned into months. The cycle continued. Obinna came home late, sometimes not at all. His excuses grew thinner, his patience shorter. Uduak's body bore the mark of his frustration. Bruises hidden beneath long sleeve, scar concealed beneath her wrapper. The neighbors whispered, but no one there interfered. One afternoon, she was scrolling through his phone while he showered, a risky move she rarely dare. She saw the name again, source of joy. The message were sickening, sweet words, playful teasing, promises of money and gifts. Her chest tightened as she read. Baby, I miss you. Don't forget to send the 1.5 million for my boutique rent. You are my everything. And his reply, of course, my joy. Already done. You deserve the world. Without vision blurred with tears. 1.5 million for another woman. Yet he had told her there was no money for school fees, no money for food, no money for anything. She locked the phone quietly, her hand shaking, her heart shattered. That night, when he emerged from the bedroom, she wanted to confront him, to scream, to hold the truth in his face, but she remained silent because she knew how it would end, with denial, with anger, with more bruises. Instead, she turned her face to the wall and wept quietly. And so the days dragged on, heavy with sorrow. Uduak wore her pain like an invisible garment, one that no one could see, but everyone could sense. She laughed with her children, traded in the market, greeted her neighbors, but inside she was crumbling. Her marriage had become a prison, and her tears were the only escape she had left. But deep down, a storm was brewing, and when it broke, nothing would remain the same. The sky above the city had turned a dull shade of grey, carrying the promise of rain. Uduak sat at the edge of the bed, her palms pressed together, her eyes fixed on the door. For days now, she had rehearsed in her mind the words she wanted to say to Obinna, words about their distance, their silence, the widening gulf that seems to separate them even while living under the same roof. That evening, she had her mind made. No more silence. Tonight I will speak. Tonight he must listen. She had cooked his favorite, jollof rice with fried plantain, hoping the familiar taste might soften his heart. The children, sensing her restless energy, ate quietly after they were struck into bed. Uduak remained in the living room, waiting. Every tick of the wall clock seemed louder than the last. 9 o'clock came, no sign of Obinna. 10 o'clock, still no sign of his key in the door. By 11, her foot sat cold on the dining table, untouched. Her stomach crumbled, not from hunger, but from a deep growing unease. This is not new, she whispered to herself, pacing the floor. He stays out late. He avoids me. But why does tonight feel different? She tried calling his number once, twice, thrice. The phone rang, but no answer. Her chest tightened. As usual, she thought bitterly. Obinna rarely answers her calls these days. If he picked at all, his response were curt, impatient, and as if her voice irritated him. But tonight she felt something stronger than rejection, a heavy weight pressing down on her spirit. God, please, she prayed aloud, clutching her phone tightly. Let him be safe. Don't let anything bad happen. She dialed again. The phone rang longer this time, and just when she thought it would cut off, a voice answered. But it was Robina. Hello? The voice was deep, steady and strangely official. Woodruff froze. Hello? Please, is this Obina's phone? Yes, madam. Are you related to the owner of this phone? Her heart skipped. Yes, I I am his wife. Please, who am I speaking with? This is Officer Clement, from the Nigerian police force, the man replied. His tone carried the weight of authority and something else, something that made Udra's kin weaken. Madam, you need to come to Save Life Hospital immediately. Her hand trembled so violently that the phone nearly slipped from her grip. Save Life Hospital? Why? What happened? Where is my husband? There was a pause before the officer spoke again, slower this time. Your husband was involved in an accident. He is in critical condition. You need to come quickly. The word pierced her chest like a blade. Woodward gasped. Her free hand clutched the end of the sofa for support. The room swung around her, and her breath came into short, sharp bursts. No, no, God forbid, she whispered. Obinna, accident? No. The pot she had left on the gas earlier slipped from her hand as she staggered back into the kitchen. The daughter startled the children from their sleep. The younger, rubbing sleepy eyes, toddled toward her. Mom, why are you crying? Where is Daddy? Udoak's lip quivered, but no word came out. Her children's eyes, innocent, confused, trusting, burned her soul. She pulled them close, hugging them so tightly, then swayed. Daddy is fine, she lied, her voice breaking. Daddy will be fine. But inside, her wall was waving. Minutes later, she was outside, calling her neighbor. Mama Ifyo, breathless, tears dripping down her face. She explained what happened. Without hesitation, the neighbor promised to watch the children. Go, Woodward, Mama Ifyo urged, holding her shoulder. Go and see your husband. God is in control. I will take care of the children. Woodward nodded. Though her legs felt like lead, she flagged down a passing bike, her heart pounding with every second of the ride. Streetlight blur as her tears fell freely, her mind a storm of fear and unanswered questions. What if he dies? What if I become a widow at 30? What will happen to my children? She shook her head violently, refusing the thought. No, Obinna will not die. She muttered to herself, gripping her back tightly. He will not die. But as the tricycle sped through the rain-stick lights, the night seemed heavier than ever. When she reached Save Life Hospital, the sight that greeted her nearly broke her. In the emergency ward, under harsh fluorescent light, Obinna lay unconscious, his face pale and bruised, tube running into his body. Machine peeped steadily beside him, every sound both a comfort and a torment. Udra's leg buckled, and she would have collapsed had Officer Clement not got her. Madam, please be strong, he said firmly, guiding her to a chair. The doctors are doing all they can. Uduak's tears flew unchecked as she reached for her husband's limp hand. His skin felt cold, his silence deafening. Memories of their life together flashed before her, the laughter of their early days, the promise made under starry university nights, the children they brought into the world. And now this. She bent her head, her body shaking with sob. Oh God, don't take him from me. Not like this. Not when we are still broken. Not when I still have things to say. The doctor approached, his expression grave. Madam, we need blood urgently, and there are other expenses. Please, you have to make a deposit quickly. Udak swept her tears with the back of her hand, her voice trembling. I have 50,000 in my account. I will transfer it now. But the doctor shook his head. It will not be enough. You need to provide more and quickly. Officer Clement, who had been standing quietly nearby, handed her Obinna's phone. Madam, you may need to access his account to pay. Do you know his password? Udak froze, staring at the phone as though it were a stranger. Slowly, she shook her head. No, she whispered, her shame cutting deep. I I don't know. The officer frowned, clearly displeased. How can you be his wife and not know his password? This is life and death, madam. Udak bowed her head, her tears falling anew. She had never felt so helpless, so powerless, so excluded from the life of the man she had shared her soul with. And as the machine peeped steadily in the cold hospital ward, Urak realized that her life was about to change forever.